All right, we are live. Let's check sound as usual. I want to do this pretty quick stream. I am cooking currently, but I want to do this stream to talk about something that I'm about to do in terms of my pre-tax contributions to a 401k. So, as you guys know, I started a new job back in November, and hold on, I'm supposed to check sound. We'll get into it. And here we go. Yeah, so started a new job back in November, and now I've qualified since I've been there. I've qualified to contribute to make contributions to a 401k. They do the matching, or they will start doing the matching. I forgot what the matching is. I'm not worried about that because it's usually like they match half of your contributions up to 6%, and then what they do is they'll do a whole of the first. Like my last job did this. They did 3% max, right? So what they would do is they do 100%. They match 1%, 100%, and then every percent after that they match 0.5% up to 6%. So that works out to be the first percent they match up 100%, and then percent 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 5. That'll be 0.5%. So it works out to be 2, 3, 4. I think it's like 3.5%. So like 1, 2.5 plus the first percent. So it's like 3.5%, 3 or 3.5%. Now that's cool, but you can always do more, right? And that's kind of one of the bigger things about MGTOW retirement is doing more so you can have more later on, and the importance of that. I haven't done a picture in a while, so this was actually a really cool picture. I just saw it and I was like, oh, I gotta download this. So alien sci-fi weapon. I hope you guys actually like the thumbnail photo. It's in the description. You guys can get the link for that. I always put the links. I'm like really good about that because I don't want to take people's artwork and not give them credit for it, because there's just some fantastic art, and these people need more attention. So I do like this photo here, which is pretty freaking badass. I really do like this shit. Let me like download every freaking picture. But I had to make some changes to my spreadsheet. Saw where I made mistakes on formulas or calculations, and then I have to subsequently change some formulas as well. Just got paid today. They got paid yesterday, but the way it works is with my account, they just fund it early. So got paid, and I took out my 10%, went ahead and bought crypto. I bought $220 of Cardano and then another $100 of CRO. So $220 of ADA and $100 worth of CRO or crypto.com. So those coins I think are going to be great. They're actually really at a discount, and I think they're going to be movers and shakers for sure. All right. So I do have to do some balancing here. I made a lot of purchases, and I made even more returns. I've done a lot to the workshop itself. In fact, let me just upload some pictures, and then I can actually view them on the stream here. Actually, let me get here. There's a lot of like progress and good stuff I've been doing in there. So I've been really happy and proud of that. Yes, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. I wasn't feeling too well. I just need to get some rest though. So I took the day off of work, and I was able to, once I did get some rest, I was able to do a little bit of work in the shop. So that was nice. My job is not too crazy about like not taking days off. I'm not doing anything crazy, but even when I took the day off, I still, showed up to a meeting. I want to make sure that I stay in the loop on things, because there's a lot of things in terms of the communication at my job that is, I would say, lackluster in some cases, but sometimes it's just people not adding you in, not being cognizant of it, and then they don't say anything. David Cummings, brother, thank you very much for joining the what's it called, the stream. I appreciate you. Yo to you, what's up? What's up? So I have to do some updates to my spreadsheet. The biggest thing is the monthly bills, or my monthlies. And the problem here, let's zoom in here. The problem, well, not really so much a problem. These calculations are actually correct. So this is based off of my gross pay, which is $125,000 a year. I do an HSA. So with the HSA, this train is loud. That's what I get for like taking too long to talk. So with the HSA, it's a health savings account. So the health savings account is something that you can actually go ahead and take that money and invest, or you can just use it towards your medical expenses. The biggest thing to do is you want to have as many pre-tax deductions as possible, because that's money that you can use for yourself. So it acts as another savings account or savings vehicle or retirement investment vehicle. What is exactly just getting in here? So I'm talking about, I kind of probably already went over it before you asked or as you're asking, but pretty much what I'm getting into is talking about pre-tax deductions from your payroll, so that you can maximize your retirement savings in the long run. And one of the moves that I'm gonna be making actually pretty soon. So as you guys know, my current day job, as I said, I make $125 a year, and then also I do side work in terms of like programming, coding, and stuff like that. It doesn't interfere with my day job or anything like that. Everybody knows I have a day job, and they understand that they play kind of second fiddle to that. But I always try to respect their time and help them out and get things done a little bit faster. But it's also another stream of income and way that I can work from home. For that, I usually charge about $50 an hour for my coding services currently, and I probably will raise that in time. Now, I've been approached by a company to actually do some work, so I might be getting into that pretty soon. Give me a sec. I just heard something on my pod. Give me a sec. I'll be right back. All right. I'm coming back. Almost there. All right. Yeah, I did invest in crypto. I have invested in crypto. I have been investing in crypto for a number of years. Currently, I think my crypto's like at like 43 grand or so. I'll probably do another stream about that, because I do have a crypto's totals page where I go over. So yeah, $46,000 currently in crypto, and that's current market valuation. As you can see, at its height, I was at 65 grand, and not too many numbers changed in here because I've been putting money towards other things. All right, so let's go over monthlies here. So this is talking about pre-tax investments. Now, I use smartasset.com, their paycheck calculator. Bonds, I am not into currently, and it doesn't really pay to be in bonds currently at the moment. Bonds is really good during bear markets or prolonged bear markets, but currently with the Fed and what they're actually doing to pump up the economy, bonds have not been a good vehicle for investing, dividend harvesting, or what's it called? Not dividend harvesting, not just dividend harvesting, but storage or long-term storage of your money throughout a bear market. So that is not something that I'm really into, and I got out of most of my bonds, except for a couple. Some of it, like, some Vanguard bond ETFs and things like that, I would still probably be into. All right, so let's go ahead and start working on some numbers here. So all right, perfect. And you know what I noticed is the salary per year here, it'll actually put in the median income for that area. So if I put in where I used to live, should update that. Oh, no, it doesn't do it. Yeah, I just noticed that. It's like, it looks like it puts in the median income for the area. Totally off. I hate this thing that keeps on doing this. It's just because it's trying to load crap. Growth stocks is the way to go. Growth stocks, but honestly, I would do, I mean, you have your pieces of growth stocks or your bit of growth stocks in your portfolio, but mainly my focus is on long-term investing and using things like your REITs, ETFs, and dividend producing stocks. So those aren't always growth stocks. Like AT&T is a pretty good dividend producing stock, but it pretty much sucks at growth. It's just sideways. It doesn't do anything. But it's a fairly stable company, and they give you probably about 52 cents per per share. So that's pretty nice. Where if you get 30 shares of that, you're looking at $15 in dividends, and that's pretty nice to get every quarter. And that can actually pay some bills in some cases. Let me guess, dividends. Yes, great dividends for sure. I know it's a little bit of a delay, so like I'll see your comment. You'll listen to what I say and see your comment. I've kind of already answered and talked about it. So excuse that delay sometimes in some of the stuff that we talk about. So 31,503. Now, yeah, I do like dividends, and that's kind of long term. And then where I play in terms of my growth stocks, AT&T is going to cut their dividend. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they were actually talking about that a while back as well. But that's where you quote unquote diversify, and you go into stocks like or ETFs such as VOO or like any of the Vanguard ETFs like VOO. Give me a sec. Let me name them off here. I use M1 Finance as my broker, so I have all this stuff on my phone. Most brokerages have a phone app anyway, but everything is like through the phone on this one. So in my Roth IRA, I invest in Noble, NOBL, ProShares, S&P 500 dividend, VOO, VYM, VYMI, VNQ, VB, XYLD, and QYLD. Now with QYLD and XYLD, there are some tax issues with that, so you have to be careful with that in terms of how you actually get taxed for your dividends of those stocks. I hear you, though. I think a mixture of growth and dividends is good for sure. Because even in that Roth IRA, my growth portfolio or the growth section of my portfolio takes up 64.9%, even though it's slated to only take, or its target is 20%, and I haven't rebalanced. So in that, I have Tesla, I have AT&T, I have Coinbase, I have AMD, Oracle, MDB, which is MongoDB software that I use, Intel, Elasticsearch or Elastic NV, Disney, Microsoft, Cisco, Square, ARC-W, and ARC-G. So those are all ETFs that, and I need to go through and prune some of these and work on some of this as well, and also do things to balance this sucker out without selling. And that's just my Roth IRA. In my passive account, it's a little bit more. And that I do not do much. I do not do much in terms of moving around. No disrespect, M1 is still new. Fidelity is a little better. Yeah, and also one of the big things about newer, and that's no offense taken, one of the things about newer stock trading platforms or brokerages or online brokerages, robo-investors, and this is something I made a video about, right? Your robo-investor is your new influencer. A lot of them are selling your information upstream. They're also marking up some of the prices as well. So they make money off of that, and that's how they actually make their money. And they also sell flow to other clearinghouses as well. And that's one thing that was discovered, especially with Robinhood. The biggest thing, though, when you use Fidelity or E-Trade or TD Ameritrade, one of those bigger firms, the biggest thing with them is that they actually make you pay, but they have a lot more liquidity. So they don't have liquidity issues like Robinhood did when GME or GameStop was going off and going crazy and going gangbusters. They didn't have to stop, and they were able to do all of that stuff. They were able to do all of that stuff without stopping trading on those stocks. I'm gonna give you a good stock to check out. Look up stock Palantir. Yes, I do have Palantir. I've been in Palantir. I probably have. Let me check. You're taking me off my game, but it's good. I like the interaction. So I appreciate you, man. So in my tech section of my my passive income portfolio, currently I am down $618 on Palantir, but I have 91 shares of Palantir. So I've had that for a while. I had that since their SPAC IPO'd. So I've had that for a while. Pure Storage. I got to go through a lot of this stuff. I've been kind of off on it because of just work and everything like that. So I really do need to go through this. Alrighty, but yeah, Palantir is great. I like what they do, and I like what companies like them do because they're really looking at data, and they understand that data is the most important fundamental thing, or the foundational piece of businesses nowadays. All right, so look up stock Palantir. Trust me, will thank me later. I already thank myself. I'm ahead of the game. Payment by order flow. Yep. Well, Fidelity does manage $2 trillion in assets. Yep. Screw it. Just keep adding. Yeah, exactly. So Palantir, I would add more. Coinbase, I got them when they IPO'd, so I got them at a hype. But I'm looking at Coinbase to be a $500 stock. I don't even know what they are actually right now. Let me look that up. Coin. And then we'll get to these pre-tax deductions. It's just something that I noticed. Yeah, Coinbase is currently at $214.50. And I think I bought it at $250, $300 or so. And I've been in it for a while. Alrighty, so what I noticed with my pre-tax contribution is this is just something I did on Smart Asset. I get paid semi-monthly, so only 2 times a month. So that's 24 pay periods in the year. And then I was doing things like medical insurance, which this was, I don't know why I was putting this in there, but that's a bit off. But HSA, that calculates to the max for HSA, which is about $3,200 or $3,250 a year is what you can contribute to your HSA. So I put that in there, and then I pay all my medical expenses out of pocket, which I don't have many. Even when I had COVID the other day, I did not go to the doctor for it. I went to the store, got some NyQuil, some orange juice, and then also some Flonase later on. So that actually helped me out. And I still have a lingering cough, I'm not going to lie, but there's nothing really out there for COVID, not too much. Even with the vaccines, I mean, people are still saying like, hey, listen, I'm still sick as a dog. So it is what it is. Owning Coinbase is pointless to me. I kind of like it. I like them because it's like they're the people that are actually giving people the shovel. And I think they're like going to be great as a platform. Also the same with crypto.com. And it's also a good way to support them because then they get more people into crypto. It's another way of thinking it. But I totally understand what you're saying. Might as well just buy some Ethereum with the Coinbase money. No, I want to diversify. And that's kind of the whole point of it. When you put a lot of your eggs in one basket, which I know you understand, or I assume you understand, it's not always that good. You want to diversify as much as possible. But sometimes diversification can keep you away from bigger gains. All right. So with this one here, this is estimating my semi-monthly take-home as $3,180. Now, going off of that number, and I've changed this number a little bit, and this is just me kind of like working on something. So if I go off at 3,180, I would have about $2,300 as my monthly remainder. So what this does is if like, if all my debts are paid, or if I, paid off my debts and then got a new truck and a large building. So this one is actually off. This doesn't make any sense anymore, and I do have to change this. But this is the one that I actually go by in terms of my monthly bills and keeping track of everything. So now what I'm doing is I take 10% of my take home and I put that into like Coinbase and stocks and things like that. Check out another hyper growth stock, Blade Air Mobility. Yeah, I don't know about that one. We'll see. I'll have to check that out in a little bit. But let me get to this. Blade Air Mobility. I'll think about that one. So in terms of my mortgage payment, I actually make an extra payment in terms of I make 2 extra payments per year for my mortgage, and those payments go towards principal. Now, I look at the biggest thing right here is the monthly remainder, right? How much money I'll have left over. Now, if I go through here and I have an actual pre-tax investment calculator here, what I can do is I'm thinking about actually putting in 19%. Now, the biggest thing is if I put in my 6%, then we're looking at pre-tax investments. Actually, it's better to do it here. If I put in, let's go to Smart Asset, smartasset.com, and their paycheck calculator. I'm going to put in my yearly salary by semi-monthly. So there we go. And then we're going to change our pre-tax deduction. So this is no pre-tax deductions, nothing for HSA or anything else like that. And this is kind of the power of pre-tax deductions because I would think, oh, okay, it's going to take a lot away from me at the end of it, or on the net side of it, which it does take some money away from you. But if you're making enough money and you have all your bills and your what do they call it? Not liabilities, your expenses to be fairly low, like I can pay most of my expenses, if not all of them, with one check, then you can actually put more towards your pre-tax deductions. So let's go ahead and look at that. So on the left-hand side, if you're on the website, if you're not on the website on a computer, on the mobile app, I think there's like a person icon to the top right where you have to put in some of this information so it can calculate it for you properly. But pre-tax deductions, and then for the 401k, instead of fixed amount, which you can do, I do gross pay. So now usually you can do your 6%. The reason why you do your 6% is because the company you work for usually is going to match half of, all your contributions up to 6%, or they have some type of ladder like I explained earlier. So that'll work out to be about 3 to 3.5%. So if I put 6% for my 401k, and then 133 a month per pay period. So that 133 times 24 pay periods is $3,192. That gets me right underneath what it actually right underneath the maximum contribution I can make to my HSA. For gross pay, that's 6%, and this is per paycheck. So every paycheck is going to take out this 6%. So I'm going to do done. Now we went from 3,400 to about, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, you see the salary per year? I think it just does it on the median income of the area. So like my area is very rural, and that is kind of the median income for people. All right, so let's do, and we want to look at the difference between the two. So semi-monthly, you can buy more Palantir. Yeah, you definitely can buy more Palantir. Palantir is my stock, though. I like Palantir. I like what they're doing. I like Peter Thiel. I've read his book, 0 to 1, and his methodology and thought process when it comes to investing. If you look at Peter Thiel and what he does, and I've talked about this in past streams too, but you may not have seen it, but Peter Thiel and what he thinks about in terms of like Google and how Google has such a glut of money, it means that they're not investing into their product to make it actually better. And he like went off on the Google CEO at the time, which is hilarious. All right, cool. Let me just do this. And we want to like see the difference between the two. So we're looking at maybe a loss of $300, right? So $300 pre-tax, post-tax, right? Versus, so this is no pre-tax deductions and pre-tax deductions of 6%, and also taking out for the HSA. Let me make sure I have that in there. Yeah. Okay, cool. And it's good to like work with these numbers. So now when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, 32.71. I'll have some more. Yeah, Peter Schmidt or Peter Thiel, or Peter Schmidt was the Peter Schmidt the Google CEO at the time? I'm not sure. All right, give me a sec. Let me look at that number and I'll be right back. I just don't want this sucker to burn. All right. Ugh, that turned out perfectly. Oh, Eric Schmidt. Oh, former CEO of Google. Okay, yeah. I didn't know the difference either. It's just I thought you were talking about Peter Thiel. I was like, no, it's Thiel, not Schmidt. But yeah, Eric Schmidt. That could have been the gentleman that he was talking to. A person that's really good in terms of methodology of using ETFs and how ETFs are like a total, like a S&P 500 or total market index. The reason why they're so good is because, you know, not many people can actually beat those indexes and also beat the level of diversification of those indexes. So you can have a piece of everything. So even if one goes down, the other goes up. But in terms of actual growth over time, you're looking at probably about a 10% increase, excuse me, or 10% return on your money. Anyways, so, okay. Kathy Woods. Kathy Woods, that's for ARK Invest, or of ARK. No, JNR Collins. JNR Collins. Yeah. JNR Collins. He has a blog. Actually good. JN Collins. He actually did a Google Talk as well. That was actually pretty good as well. Let me see. J. Collins, Google. JL Collins, that's his name. The Simple Path to Wealth by JL Collins, or with JL Collins. This is one of Google's talks, and I'll go ahead and put that in there. JL Collins. And he also has a blog that is like the guide, like what he would tell his daughter in terms of investing. Because the story is his daughter, and I have a little bit more time now since that food is finished cooking. JL Collins H or Collins SH. Oh, here it is. But this is his blog, and he has his manifesto. He has Collins blog. He has his manifesto, and then he has like a prolonged series of articles that are really good. So his stock series, and how many parts does he have to this? His stock series is up to like part 36. Yeah, he goes up to 36. So if you go on that website, you can see his stock series. It has it in the tab at the top. He also has his manifesto where he goes over what he's actually trying to talk about. But he was one of those people that would pick all these different stocks and everything else like that. And then he talked to somebody, and then it kind of opened up his whole world. He's like, you're trying to beat the market, and you're probably getting 4%, right? Which is pretty good for somebody that is quote unquote trying to beat the market. And then you have those extraordinary people that are doing like 14, 15% or larger amounts, right? But those returns aren't always the same. And then if you average it out, it doesn't always equal out to be those large numbers, you know, those peaks. But if you even it all out and you compare it to the S&P 500, most people are not going to be doing better than the S&P 500 over a prolonged period of time. Even if you just look at their start point and compare their start point with the start point of the S&P 500 at the time and wherever they ended in terms of closing down their firm, dying, or what have you, or getting out of the game, right? They don't really beat it that often. So that's one thing that he talks about quite a bit. And he says, hey, listen, you know, a lot of these companies that have these, or a lot of these investment firms that do these high risk trades, these large moves, market makers, the whales, these, these family offices, these large investment firms, blah, 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 or these hedge funds. That's the other word I was looking for, not saying the same thing twice, but these hedge funds, they don't always consistently beat out the market. I will pause. I don't know. I don't know what I said that was pause worthy. This probably is. I'd be saying some suspect shit. I ain't gonna fucking lie. I usually catch it though. But yeah, they usually consistently beat out the market. All right, cool. So yeah, so back to this. These are my numbers on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, this is if I made a 6% contribution. So now if I do a 6% contribution and I plug that number in, right? And again, this is where, this is a lacking, or this is where my spreadsheet is lacking in terms of this calculation. It's what I can actually do, or what I can actually put in. Some of these things I wish I could, not wish, but I need to rework the formula to where it actually takes this out and calculates everything right. The hardest part is doing all the state taxes and stuff like that, and also keeping that shit up to date. That's annoying. So if I do my net income and I up that to 3271, and these numbers by no means are exact. There's always something that makes it a little bit off. It just depends on the data that they're sourcing. That means I'll come out with $2,452.99. Now, currently, I don't really have any pre-tax deductions. I just started putting money into my HSA again, or just started putting money into my HSA period. And then now I'm going to enroll in my company's 401k and hopefully get all the matching pretty soon. I should be able to get all the matching pretty soon. So now I'm like looking at, before that number was like closer to 3,000, like having $3,000 extra per month after paying off all expenses to do fuck shit. So, now I'm like, okay, well, I don't plan on getting a new truck anymore because I've ordered the fucking thing twice, an $85,000 truck, and it just doesn't come through. It's just like, they don't call me anymore. I don't even think they put the order in. It's just bullshit. So I'm not even going to chase that down. Like, I'm not going to beg people to take my money, especially when you're looking at $1,500 a month for 7 years. If I did a loan like that, it's fucking crazy. But those trucks would have lasted. Like, I was going to get like a Chevy 2500 diesel. I may still get one, but I'm okay with it not having it now. I've gotten over that. So monthly remainder at $2,452. So now let's go ahead and up that, right? And this is the important thing about pre-tax deductions. When you start to up these pre-tax deductions and you don't really need the money per se, or the money's taken out before you can even touch it, and all you have is what's left over. If you listen to The Richest Man in Babylon, always pay yourself 10%. Pay yourself 10% before you pay anyone else. You pay the shoemaker, the clothes maker. You pay the merchant in the market, so on and so forth, as they put it in The Richest Man in Babylon. You pay all these people before you pay yourself, and all you get is what's left over. You worked for it, but somehow, some way, you've been programmed, or you actually accept the programming of I'm going to pay myself last, meaning putting money away for yourself, investing your money. So now I take 10% right off the top, and I've been doing this for a while, and I put it into crypto or some other type of like whether the stock market or what have you. Right now, my main focus is on crypto. So pay yourself first. Now, this is a whole nother level of paying yourself first, because you're paying with pre-tax deductions, meaning that no tax is taken out of this money. It's 6%, not of your net. It's 6% of your gross. So I'm taking 6% of this gross number here versus 6% of this number here, or the net number here. So if I look at that and I take 5208 times, I think it's 0.06. That'll be 312, right? And then I don't even know how to do that one, but I just want to put it on the calculator, I guess. And I take 3271, and this is obvious. It's going to be less because it is a smaller amount. Now you're looking at taking about what, $116 that is taken by taxes and so on and so forth away from you. If you were to take that same 6% and put it somewhere else, or put it in your own type of Roth IRA, which is post-tax, or your net, or crypto investing, stock investing, all these things are post-tax or net, or taken out of your net, because you're taking that and putting it in yourself. Now, if you're doing pre-tax deductions like your 401k or something like that, now that's going to be a lot more. That percentage, or the amount of money, is going to be a lot more, but you will get less, which is not a problem because you're going to invest it anyway, right? Like, yeah, maybe. Sorry, I keep looking over here because I'm like looking at comments and stuff, but sometimes just looking at myself for good reason. So we're looking at $116 in terms of $4 plus 12, so 116. Yeah. So you're looking at about $116 and some change, just so you can actually get and that's 6% of gross versus net. So now, if I look at this and I look at myself and I say, hey, okay, Michael, what are you doing with that money? Do you need all of that money? Wouldn't it be better that you can actually take all that money or take some of that money and put it towards Miguel? What's up, brother? Good to see you, bro. Elbow cough. Yeah, good to see you, bro, as always. Do you know any good tax agents? You can check out our brother in the space, Pocket Watching with JT, or even you could say your local tax office, but Pocket Watching with JT would probably be a good guy to talk to or look at. I might get him for some of my like just to put myself together financially for in a little bit. I've been talking about that for a while. I wanted to do it, as I got into this new job and do some other stuff. So it's about that time. Yes, I'm using my back scratcher on my head. It is what it is. But Pocket Watch It with JT is a person that I'm going to be using his services in terms of estate planning and doing some other stuff, and also planning some other investments and things that I want to do for myself. All right, so moving on. Now I'm like, okay, Mike, let's start looking at maximizing this. What would it take? I think the max 401k contribution. Let's look what that is. I think it's like 20,000 or something like that. Yeah, there we go. IRS announces 401k limit increases to $20,500. That's a lot of money. Now, if you're in the position that I am in, thank God, I've worked hard for it. But, if you're in that position where you're making enough money to where you have excess, think about doing this. Think about putting more money towards your 401k. Now, this is going to take quite a bit of discipline. It's going to kind of hurt, quote unquote, to say, damn, I can't spend that money this month. Or like my homeboy Miguel, damn, I can't go on a trip because that motherfucker be traveling everywhere, buying new shoes and everything. Miguel probably got more shoes than his wife. Just putting that out there, whatever. I put your business out there, bro. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, man. See you, bro. Do we have to work on the screen resolution? Yeah, bro. Yeah, sorry about that, bro. Yeah, so that's one thing with the workshop that I will be doing is actually increasing a lot of this stuff and getting better with it. And yeah, I talked to you about that a while back. Oh, wow, this is a pretty cool picture. Look at this one. I like that one. Definitely gonna save that. That's a really cool picture, and I love the Dane. The purple's in there too. Really cool. Whoa. Okay. Julian Del Rey. That's a sick picture. That reminds me of like Steven's Universe. Oh man, I'm loving this guy's stuff. I like the colors. I like artists that use like purples and have like really vibrant color schemes. All right, give me a sec. Let me bring up my Google Drive a little bit. This is a little bit why I've recently ran up another credit card. And just putting that out there that I did some fuck shit. Let me find this picture here. Recent. Yeah, the screen resolution sucks though, man. It's been like that for a while. It's just I've been spending money on other crap, namely this stuff here. Actually, namely this. So I recently got a prefab building, and I've done things like, I've built my own desk. So I built that myself with these two hands, with gloves on, of course. And I just put up all these pegboards. I mean, I bought these pegboards off of Amazon, and they were like these like plastic ones, and I returned them today because you can get these pegboards that are 2 feet by 4 feet, and this shit takes up like, damn, how much does this take up, man? This takes up 2 feet by 4 feet. So it takes up 2 feet by 4 feet. But the other ones that I got, like, they were so much smaller and plastic, And these were $10. That's what I was thinking about, like take up. But these things were $10 per 2 feet by 4 feet, whereas the 4 that I got were $55 or something like that. And those were like small, like it was just stupid. I was just like, no, I returned them today, but I've been spending a lot of money in here, running the electrical, putting in this sub panel. I ran all this wire into it. That is my power source for it and everything. So that's where I've been spending a lot of my money recently. Yeah. And of course, I got the TV mount, got the electrical RAM for that. I'm going to be doing some work in there after I get off a stream here, or after I eat, I should say, and get off a stream. I'm going to be up for a little bit longer today because I got somebody actually driving up from Florida from the house to the house. But yeah, I've been doing a lot in this. So this is a 12 foot by 36 foot building. Miguel, this is what I talk about, man. I want to get one of these, Miguel, and put it in the backyard maybe. I wanted a bigger one, but I'm liking the small one so far. And it seems like it's more than enough. Put this in the back, man, and that'll be the gun shed. Thinking about that. And have it fully solar. Totally off grid. I know you'll like that shit, bro. But with this, Miguel, I'm going to put up some Amcrest 4K cameras. And let's look at that. So Amcrest 4K cameras, and this is hard to do, but this is a part of MGTOW retirement, I guess. I don't know. So, but this is the thing you do in your retirement. I'm just trying to get myself ready for it. So you can get these Amcrest 4K cameras. I got one already, and I want to get another one, a different mount to it, or where it's the one that you put up. Miguel, you know these. But I want to use these and use OBS with the G-Stream plugin. And with the G-Stream plugin, you can actually get IP cameras and get damn near real-time video from them. And these cameras are like 4K. So like, not this. Is this one 4K? No, I don't think this one's 4K. But they have others that are 4K. And I'm going to put these in that shop at different angles. I'm going to clean all this stuff up, of course, but I'm putting it at different angles so that I can actually get this whole thing will be a stream center, like I can do all my streams from the workshop. I already got a wireless mic and I've been using that in other streams, and that wireless mic was great. Gives me probably I can get 3 out easily stream for 3 hours with that, with full charge on that. So yeah, been setting this up. All right, back to it. And let me keep this guy up too, because I want to go through some of this stuff. So the max contribution for 2022 for your 401k is $20,500. Now, I won't show my. I use Empower, or my company uses Empower. Most companies do. My last company used to use Empower for retirement contributions, or planning, do it for your 401k contributions and doing all your retirement stuff. My current company does as well. So I won't show you that whole look and everything like that, and give away account information and all that. I've done it in other videos where I looked at it, but I did a target date fund, a Vanguard 20. It has me for 2050, because that's when I'm supposed to retire. But my target date fund, I actually upped it to 2065. What that does is, when you actually get a target date fund that is not your actual retirement date, it's far later. What it does, it stays in the riskier portion, or the riskier investments, for a longer period of time. And then as you get closer and closer to your target date for your retirement, it actually goes to less risky investments, later and later on, or later on down the line, so that you keep more of your money in preparation for your distributions. So if you actually take a target date fund, if you want to do a 401k and get more risky with it, just get a target date fund that's like 20. If you're supposed to retire at 2050, like myself, get like a 2060, 2065. And when you do that, then you'll be able to, quote unquote, be in riskier, or be in the riskier side of things, or do more riskier investments later on. So that means you have the opportunity to make more money. That's why that's risky. Usually the ones that are risky, you're going to make a little bit more money, usually, but you also have, a big downside or possibility of loss. All right. So with this 401k HSA, in terms of looking at my monthly investment, If my company does the matching, the current company I work for does the matching the same, this is the calculation of what they would give. So now this calculation works, but I could only do it up to 6%, right? So I have to put in a calculation if I want to do more than 6%. So we'll ignore these numbers for now. We're only going to focus on the thing that I just messed up. We're only going to focus on this number here, right? So now if I start playing with these numbers and I start doing things like a 10% or something like that, now I'm going to be taking home less money, but this is for later on in life. This is where we want to take this money and then we're going to actually pay off our home probably quicker, maybe even get another home or vacation home or something like that. Maybe start getting more toys and things like that. For me personally, thankfully, I make enough to where I can get these toys now in a sense, or get them sooner than later and still make investments and savings. And that's like the big thing for me. And that's like one of the big pushes for me in terms of working harder, smarter, and then also making your money work for you, like maybe even getting a home or something like that, or like a rental property or something like that. Definitely getting a home for yourself. So let's ignore these numbers here. Oh, stuff is all messed up because of, oh, that's totally wrong. There we go. So let's ignore those numbers there. So now I'm thinking of, okay, what if I do a pre-tax deduction and see how much I would really miss? So let's ratchet it all the way up to 19%. Now, the reason why I can do 19%, one, because I have that room to do it and I can do more, but I can't do more because of federal tax regulations or IRS tax regulations. And that means I can't go over the 20,500 for the year. So something like this, I'll probably put in like 19%. I already looked at it earlier, 19%. And I've just like been contemplating this, like, how can I do this? Look at like, what is this going to mean? So if I take out a damn near 1,200 or 1,123 or $1,123 per paycheck will be taken out for HSA and for 401k. No other medical insurances or anything else like that. All the dental oh, that's why I put the medical insurance. Hold on. There we go. The medical insurance for some of the medical that I have, like the dental and all that other stuff, it works out to be 150. And even with this HSA at 150, that should be 133. Let's just do. Let's change that to 10 and this to 2. So, okay. Oh, 9. Yeah, you could do it in your head, but the change is the stuff that it freaking annoys me when you have to do all this. So looking at 139.69. So that's why I took out for medical. So 139 that's too much. 139.69. Oh, it doesn't allow me to do points. So 139, we'll say 140. So we're looking at $1,200. So $1,263, right? Per paycheck. Now with that, I make no money. Okay. So these pages refresh every so often when you go off of them. And I think what it is, I have ad block and it's trying to load all types of ads and all types of other bullshit or something, because this is supposed to be doing something here, which is annoying. But anyways, so we're looking at 2707. So with all those pre-tax deductions taken out, that money is going to be put towards an account that will be taxed later. Your 401k is taxed later rather than your Roth IRA, which is taxed up front. But it'll be subject to future taxation. So what you're gambling on is that your tax laws won't be that much greater later on in life. And that's another reason why you want to save as much as possible, because you're going to have to pay taxes on those distributions. Now, the biggest thing, though, is if you live in a larger city, a metropolitan area, you're going to have to put away more money because that metropolitan area is just more expensive. Whereas I could probably get away with 25 to 35 grand a year living in my rural area. I couldn't do that in a larger city. In a larger city, I'm going to have to make 40 to 40, 50 to maybe even 60 grand a year almost just to actually live in that larger city for one reason or another, whether it be travel expenses, gas, actually not travel expenses, but gas, insurance, on your homeowner's insurance and car insurance. I know with me moving to a rural area, my car insurance got split in half at the end of it, like when I got here, which is great. But then when you're looking at, a metropolitan area like your homeowner's insurance, my homeowner's insurance is probably about $2,200 a year for my current home, and then my mom's home, where I used to live, in South Florida, she actually told me about her insurance was actually up to, damn it, man. They sent her a paper just the other day because they think she still owns the home. They sent her a quote for insurance at $7 grand in South Florida. That's crazy. $7 grand a year. Now, I don't know what the stipulations for that is and what that includes and everything else like that. But I was just like, yo, that doesn't make any sense. That's just dumb. But what you can see, though, is that when you do, most homes in Florida probably are and this is like a 2,400 square foot house and sitting on quarter acre in the city of Plantation, which is a suburban neighborhood. So surrounded by schools, wouldn't say high crime or anything like that. Your homeowner's insurance has a lot of factors included with it. One being also your crime and hurricanes or natural disasters. So paying off for previous disasters, paying off for people, doing the wrong things in their home, and they have to balance all that out. So everybody has to pay. Mostly you're going to see probably about $4,500, $5,000 a year in insurance for a single family detached home in South Florida. And that's crazy. In bigger homes, nicer neighborhoods, you're probably going to be paying more, especially when it's based off the value of the home. It's crushing. It's crushing. Like my old neighbor, supposedly she was talking to my mom, and she's like, it's really crushing in terms of the amount of money that she has to pay and all that. Anyways, when your expenses are low, you need a lot less in terms of your retirement. So that's one of the things that you want to minimize a lot of these things. So when you get older, maybe get a smaller home or have your home paid off. So all you have to do is pay your taxes and your insurance. Smaller home, your vehicle. So that's why a lot of old people move to elderly communities, and then your vehicle that you have, either you're going to have a little bit more modest vehicle or a vehicle that is paid off, or you may not have multiple vehicles or anything else like that, depending. You're probably not going to be working or anything like that, so there's no new income. There's also no new taxable income. You're going to be collecting your Social Security and other things, and depending on how much money you make, you may not be able to. I think you might have issues collecting Social Security. I'm not sure about that. So anybody correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am. And then after that, you have your taxes and insurance. That's why you get a smaller home. So when you go to a rural area or a smaller neighborhood, or maybe a little bit away from the city center because you don't have to work, maybe you just go into the city and it's a 20-minute drive versus a 5-minute drive to your favorite restaurant, or even a little bit longer. Even for me, it might be an hour and a half for me to get to a city center like Jacksonville, to the heart of Jacksonville. When I start looking at things like that, I'm a little bit ahead of the game, and I'm able to save more because my expenses are lower, and then I'm able to make more in terms of investments. So with all that being said, if I look at that and I punch that number in and I put my total for my net income, and we're going from 3271. Originally we were at 3574. So with me, 3574 minus 2707. After all my deductions, I'm losing $867. Now that is a lot, per paycheck. So times two, I'm losing $1,700 a month in spending power, right? But I'm actually getting you're saving. One thing I learned about economics, or in my high school economics class, was you save now so you can have spending power later. And that's the whole point of this, is to have spending power later. So you can't look at it as you're losing current spending power, or you can't look at it as just you're losing current spending power, because I won't lie, you are losing that. That's a car payment, if you want to get a new vehicle, that's, nicer clothing, that's maybe more trips. And that's per month. That's what I'm losing. Per month, I'm losing $1,700, $1,734 in terms of spending power. But later on, if I save upwards to 20 grand per year, like think of that in 5 years, man. And then with the market and what it's doing, and you're investing in like a Vanguard target date fund, which I love Vanguard. They have lower fees, they have less what they call fee drag, and something like that with my 401k, and I'm putting more money towards it because it's pre-tax. Totally down for it. Right. So with that all being said, 1734 is what I'm losing per month. Now with that, let's go ahead and put that number 2707. So now I've gone from before this calculation. So if I go, let's put it here. Let's just use this as a comparison. We'll do 31. Actually, my latest check was like 32.92 or something like that. Yeah, 92, I think. And I put this because this was like me calculating if I got a new vehicle and a larger building. I didn't get. And listen, it all works out. And make no investments in terms of post-tax investments or anything else like that. So net income 2707 54. All right, cool. So that's what it looks like monthly. So I'm coming from, again, this is, and the numbers bear out, that's a $1,700 difference. Now we're taking that $1,700 away from us and out of our pocket right now, and we're putting it into our pockets later. Essentially, your future self will thank you. And yes, oh my God, is it like, yes, it's only $1,400 versus $3,100. Is it the end of the world? Like $1,400 extra a month. Think about that. That's like that's some people's paycheck for the month. So you got to put it in perspective. Everybody lives differently. This might be a big thing for other people. For me, it's Young Grizzly. It is what it is. I don't even pay for haircuts. I haven't had a haircut in 2 years. I wear old clothes, like my current shirt. I got this from my friend from like my old college when we played football, and like it's split down the middle here, and like there's a big ass hole in there, and I wear this shit out like it ain't nothing. That's me personally. That's how I feel. It doesn't always attract the ladies or anything else like that. But for me, there's things that are more important in terms of some of the things that I've experienced, some of the things that I've seen that my own family members go through. And I'm like, wow, this doesn't make much sense to me. Now, one of the things that we can do to improve this is pay off some of these loans. So for instance, this number will actually go down. I think the payment for my building is probably going to be like plus, let's say 150 plus 150. Yeah, so like $1,300 or something like that. And I'm probably going to put more so I can actually pay this shed off, or the workshop. I don't like to call it a shed because that's longer. That's not a freaking shed. But pay this prefab building off. I could pay it off in a year. It's like 12 grand. And I haven't even gotten the first payment yet, or the first invoice yet, or statement. So I'll be making that payment pretty soon and working it out to where I make extra payments on top of that, just so I can get it paid off a lot faster. Now, even with that, and saying if I put in, say, an extra 350 or something like that and get it paid off in a year, I'm still looking at $937. Now, let's look at that. Take out the 350, take out 481 for car payments, my car note, which is based off of refinance. I would have paid my car off by now, but I took the easy way out of doing a refinance so that I can have a little bit more money, and that helped me when it came to buying this house and a couple other things, and of course just having cash flow. And then the 252, that 252 is for the $10,000 I took out to invest into the crypto market. And that was a personal line of credit. So I took that out and I make payments on that. And then the 150 for the building that I just got. Now let's go ahead and wipe that out. Now we're looking at recouping $800 or $883. And now our monthly remainder has actually gone up to $2170. So this is where it's the power of, paying off your debts and getting those things out of place or out of the way so that I can invest more into cryptos and everything else. So I actually think I'm going to be doing a 19% contribution to my 401k. So if I do a 19% contribution, or put 19% here, that'll be that'll be per, what's it called? It should be per check. Yeah, it's per check. So I'll be doing $2,000 a month to my 401k, and that'll help me later on. And these type of things, you can actually adjust it every day if you wanted to, every paycheck, so that you can take out less and move things around if you need to. Now, with this, I'm going to have to be a lot more disciplined on my spending, which may or may not work for me because I will be doing some more buys pretty soon in terms of things for the shed. But it just means I'm going to have to just wait a little bit longer. Now, with that being said, this is where you start doing things like getting extra work, doing more so that you can actually make more, So hopefully this recent contract comes through, and I also have some billing to do for some work I've done for my old job. So yeah, I got to do that. And I got money sitting there on the table, it's a couple $100, nothing too serious. But yeah, I do have to go ahead and do that billing. But I wanted to talk about pre-tax deductions. I did a whole ramble essentially on this. I hope you guys did pick up some good information in there. I went over a lot of stuff. JL Collins and his blog and some of his videos and his work, pre-tax deductions, like the difference in what it does to you and what it actually does to your check, putting away that 4 to 6%, how it may not really hurt you all that much. In fact, taking all of your money and not putting away anything pre-tax actually affects you a little bit more. I would say in the long run, it definitely affects you a little bit more, especially if you're not taking that money and saving it. It's better to do pre-tax because you're getting more in a sense. So 6% of your gross versus 6% of your net is far different. In my case, it's a $116 difference. And that's quite a bit. So $116, let's just, extrapolate that a little bit. I think I used the right word. So 116 times 2 pay periods times, 116 times 24. Yeah, 24 pay per, oh man. 116 times 24. So that's $2,700 that I would be losing to taxation because I didn't take out pre-tax. I didn't do pre-tax investments. Right now, yeah, you could say, hey, listen, this is money that I can actually keep, hold, invest myself, so on and so forth. But it's good to diversify and also sometimes to let other people handle your money. But you should still manage it and you understand what you're actually doing. Guys, as I always say, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate you greatly. Miguel, I will get better with the streaming, man. I've just been spending money in other places. It's definitely fun to do all of the stuff in the, where is it? Oh, I got rid of it already. Yeah, it's definitely fun to do all this stuff in the workshop and getting that going. I'm going to be probably buying a new miter saw. That's going to be like $300. I got to pay off for all the stuff that I've already done to the place. And then also run electricity out there as well. So me doing a lot of the work myself has saved me quite a bit of money. It's also been fun to do and rewarding, But yeah, it's a lot of work in terms of, me not knowing anything, buying freaking whole covers for, I don't know if you guys can see this, but buying whole covers for knockouts for junction boxes. Sorry for the lighting and everything getting in there. But buying these little whole covers, these are like 45 cents, but you make mistakes. So thankfully they have things to cover it up. All right. With that being said, thank you very much. I appreciate and love you guys all. And I hope I help somebody else, help somebody make a better decision in terms of their investments. This is not investment. Okay. I mean, it kind of is. This is not so much investment advice, but this is what I'm going to do. And I hope it helps you to inform you, or to at least help you get started with research so you can make a better decision for yourself. And that's the most important thing. So with that being said, thank you very much. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.